The plot of Sly 2, Band of Thieves, Unscripted. Spoilers, obs, go. This is part whatever in an ongoing series. Part 1 is over there in the eye, or I'll leave a link in the description to the playlist. And that's about it. Enjoy the show. So after dealing with the evils of the stick ship, Bentley is now doing some research on the Contessa. So you see, when the Contessa was a student at college, she was studying in criminal psychology. Then she married a wealthy aristocrat. And then he died. And we all know who killed him. And then she used all his money in order to build up a gigantic prison to capture all them criminals. And that's where Sly and the Murray are being held. And Bentley's got to rescue them, or they'll be working 9-to-5 jobs selling shoes. So Bentley has to save them in Jailbreak. So Bentley travels all the way through Prague. Oh yeah, by the way, this is in Prague. And he eavesdrops onto the Contessa using his own sleep darts. And the Contessa mentions that she is a member of the Claw Gang. Dun 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 dun. And that she's been brainwashing criminals in order to steal their own loot. And so she plans on stealing the Cooper Gang's loot. And she's hypnotizing the Murray, and also she has Sly in solitary confinement. Also, she's using spice to hypnotize people. But that's not important. What is important is that Bentley needs to get Sly out. So Bentley hijacks the train and crashes right into the prison and busts Sly out and destroys all the lasers, because I forgot how Bentley got rid of the lasers. And Sly gets out of the solitary confinement, and he calls him a wizard. And then he also learns the hook move. So now they gotta try to bust out the Murray. And so Sly has to do very important stuff, like getting rid of this giant attack robot. No, really, it's a giant attack robot. Guys, you gotta believe me, this is a giant attack robot. I'm telling you, it's a giant attack robot! Sly sneaks into the prison, and he tells the Murray to beat up 50 guards so that he'll get into solitary confinement. He's also been eating spices. I'm sure that this is 100% coincidental. And so Murray beats up 50 guards. And Murray says, "You gonna lock me up, suckers?" And then he's put into solitary confinement. And so Sly, he needs to steal some of the Contessa keys. So he takes out a couple of guards, and then he pickpockets from the Contessa, and she turns around, and instead of, putting the smackdown on him, she just, flies off through the window. And so now with all the tank keys, they can now pull off the big Operation Trojan Tank. So Bentley uses the tank key in order to get inside the tank, and then Sly is underneath the tank, and then he starts crawling along with the tank, and then they go through the gate all fine, and then Bentley is all like, "See, isn't it great that we don't have to deal with the giant attack robot?" Nobody likes to show off Bentley. And then Bentley blasts open the door, which doesn't cause any attention whatsoever. And then they go inside the prison, and then Sly has to do loop-de-loops and stuff, and go to computer, press buttons, and then open up gate. And then Bentley goes through, and then Sly is in the other room, and they see the Murray, and he's being all mesmerated. And they gotta bring up the mesmerator by up 4, and Sly has to go to the key panels while Bentley hacks in through each of the panels, and then activates much more hypnotism. And so the Murray goes all wound up and insane in the membrane, and then they have to break up the mesmerators only with the Murray's help. And they stop with the brainwashing, and the Murray is back to normal. And so the Contessa comes in to check on them but then she runs away and goes into a blimp. And she flies off into the next chapter. Oh. So it turns out that the Contessa flew all the way to her castle in Prague, and that since that she's a member of the Claw Gang, she has now possession of the clockwork eyes, which can hypnotize people even harder. And since that, the Contessa has been revealed to be a member of the Claw Gang, Neela has been given orders to declare a war on the Contessa while using a bunch of tanks and planes and stuff. And also she broken her leg, which is totally a thing that happened in the game and not just something that I made up. And so Sly, he's got to beat up Neela, he's got to beat up the Contessa, and he's got to get the clockwork eyes in a tangled web. Okay, so they all got to... But first, Sly's got to take in some reconnaissance, like the Contessa's blimp, Neela's hideout, the 7 billion tanks that are around this place, and that boat. I like that boat. It is a nice boat. So now he's got to go inside the Contessa's hideout and take some pics in there. When he realizes that Carmelita has been kidnapped and she's being hypnotized by the Contessa and to be her lackey or something. And so he takes pictures of Carmelita, the clockwork eyes, an old terminal, the Mad Mojo Mumbler thingamajigger, and the shadow cards. So anyway, he goes back and Bentley thinks of a plan, and which now each member gets to have their own little jobs, such as the Murray, where he gets to escort an old Batman named General Clawfoot and takes him all the way to the hideout in order to get some information, and then he drives a tank and blows up all the other tanks. And Bentley, he goes inside the crypt in order to get a Mad Mojo bomb, and also he hacks into several of the computers in order to break Carmelita out of the place, but only until the operation starts. And Sly, he buys the paraglider, and he goes off and puts in a couple of ghosts inside Neela's headquarters, and also puts in a voice modulator to make sure that they can make an announcement, just like Neela would. So now they gotta pull off the Operation High Road. So it starts out with the Murray turning off the lights in front of the bridge, and Bentley, he orders all of Neela's troops in order to attack the Contessa's castle. And so Sly and Bentley travel all the way to the Contessa's blimp in order to go into that hiding spot that the Contessa was hypnotizing Carmelita. But the shadow guards have to go out, and we never see them again. Wow. And then Bentley hacks into the terminal and busts out Carmelita, and she attacks the Contessa, and they all run out. Except for Sly and Bentley, of course. And then they use the Mad Mojo bomb to blow off the clockwork eyes off of the laser, and they all got disoriented, and but it turns out that Neela was waiting for them this whole entire time and took one of the eyes, and she ran off. So Sly has to chase off after Bentley, and those eyes are still on the laser! What? So Sly is chasing off Neela and for one of the clockwork eyes, while Bentley has the other clockwork eye and goes inside the Contessa's blimp. And Sly is chasing Neela all over the place in order to get that one eye, and then it turns out that Neela got stuck inside of a web, and then he takes the eye away from her. And at the same time, Bentley got shot up by Carmelita in the blimp and then went down and could have been killed, but thankfully he got kidnapped and by Carmelita and was put into a tank. So the Murray had to go inside of a tank in order to blow up the tank that was in Carmelita, which Carmelita didn't even know how to drive a tank in the first place. And so now it's time for the showdown. The fight between Sly and the Contessa. And Sly's like, I don't even need your psychology, you wench. And then the Contessa's all like, you really are stupid, aren't you? And so Sly beats up the Contessa, and then the Contessa gives up. She figured out the evil of her ways. And now, Sly... I might have gotten that order a bit wrong. So anyway, Sly is like... what? And so she takes away the eye, and then she goes off, and then that whole entire thing with the blimp, the tank, and yada yada, that happened. So, and then Sly meets with the Contessa, and then the Contessa is like, I am above the law. I am above criminals. I am even above you, Mr. Cooper. And Sly smacks her upside the head, and he gets the eye for realsies this time. And then Sly and the gang and Carmelita all make their escape away from Prague, and they go off to the next part. Next time! This time around, I'm giving my thanks to Swampy Fwoggo, who is the exact same person, but she had her account changed, and because Tumblr's a bot, she made all these amazing drawings of Sly Cooper and the gang, and the Contessa, which is honestly my personal favorite. I left a link down in below for her Tumblr, so thank you, Swampy, and thank you for watching, and I'll try to make the next one soon.